Hello and welcome back to another MC Championship video. This is just a quick short update video because yesterday the MCC Twitter announced all the games that would be featured in Decision Dome Dell this weekend for MCC 26. Let's talk about it. Just remember that only a small percentage of the people who watch our videos are actually subscribed, so make sure to consider hitting that red button. For now, let's dive into which games we will see this Saturday, 22nd of October at 8 PM BST for MCC 26. Okay, so on screen right now is the graphic that the MCC Twitter revealed at 4:30 PM BST on Wednesday 19th October for the MCC 26 event, which at the time of this announcement would have been in 3 days time. However, as of uploading this video, it's only 2 days before the event. As usual for each game, the name of the game is displayed as well as a blurred screenshot of the map that will be used for that game. This time there are 9 games, but focusing on the standard 12 games we've seen for Season 2 events, you'll notice that 4 of them are absent, destined not to be played for this event, and that's because we have a new game, more on that later. So the bench games are Ace Race, Build Mod, Parkour Tag, and Survival games. Ace Race has been benched for the first time since MCC 21 almost 6 months ago. Build Mod has unexpectedly been benched for the second time in a row, following on from it being rotated out in MCC 25 too, and both Parkour Tag and Survival games were recently benched in MCC 24. Also, there's no game remix this event, which makes sense since every game has instead received a huge cosmetic dress up for Halloween. Now let's take a look at each game on the graphic and see if that gives us any more information. We'll start with the top left and work our way down. Rather than show you the original image, this time I'll offer a slightly adjusted image with some unblurring and color correction to improve image quality. First up, to get to the other side and whack a fan, or TGTTOSAWAF. Important to note that while the image here shows only one of the maps, in the event there are actually 6 rounds and 6 different maps. The image here shows the launcher map. Players must fire rocket launchers in front of them to be pushed backwards in the first section, then fire these downwards to boost themselves up the levels particularly shown in the image, before jumping off the highest tower just behind the image. Halloween decorations here include floating 2D ghosts on the left, and all the platforms at the bottom are mostly orange in color. Going across to Battle Box, which uses the Haunted House map, which is only available in the October events. It was skipped in MCC 11, the first spooky themed event, so the only gameplay of this map in action can be found from MCC 18 last year. Obviously, as a Halloween exclusive map, the usual pumpkins and small candy bars can be spotted on the bottom left of the image. However, we can't see any other changes to the map in terms of layout. Now we have Rocket Spleef Rush, returning fresh after being benched for the first time last month. Important to note that while the image shows one map, in this game there are actually 3 rounds across 3 different maps. The image here shows the Santorini map. Normally the color scheme for that map would be blue and white as inspired by the real life Greek island, but as you expected, this time it's quite different, the primary colors being orange and purple, and each large building has a giant pumpkin sitting on top of it. Since there are iterations for each map in each round as new pieces of land spawn, there will be more similarly designed spooky Santorinis for players to try and survive on. The difference is being that the layout and size will change based on round length and number of players still alive. Going across to Meltdown, the newest game in the Decision Dome introduced in MCC 22, although it won't be the youngest game in rotation after this event, but hold that thought for a moment. The same image is used as was found in previous games graphics, so we can't see anything different compared to the previous 4 times it's been played. This part of the map shown here features a blue color scheme with boxes which players can hide in or run through, as well as elevation via stairs which you can make out near the middle of the image. For some reason, the map hasn't been retextured in line with the recurring special theme this month, but I'm sure the actual gameplay itself is scary enough. Right, shall we have a look at this mysterious new game that I alluded to earlier? The image here shows us a Japanese-style temple with red pillars supporting blue floors that double up as roofs for the layer below, and which decrease in size as you go up the temple. There are also a couple islands surrounding the main temple island, including several orange-colored islands positioned moving backwards away from the temple, which are perhaps mesa-themed, and a tiny island to the right of the temple with a short purple and yellow tower. The fact that everything looks suspended in the middle of the void has led many people within the MCC community to believe that Parkour Warrior is finally back. It seems like the most likely option, right? But a couple of days ago, the MCC Twitter posted separately with a picture from their archives on screen right now, which many people thought was a spawn area for Bingo but Fast. So we think that one of the legendary Season 1 games is finally returning to Decision Dome, but it has to be one or the other, not both. So let me know in the comments what you think these teasers show, because I'm really not sure. Up next, Grid Runners, and like Meltdown in previous game graphics, the exact same image was used. They must have reused the image here. It shows the finish line, which has never ever changed, and it doesn't show any of the 8 rooms that will be used, so this is pretty useless to us. But I reckon that despite this, there will be at least one new puzzle room added for MCC 26 as usual, and expect some rooms to be based around Halloween. For example, Carve the Pumpkin, which we saw in MCC 18. We've seen the final stretch of parkour to the finish line change, but this isn't visible in the image. Now we have Sky Battle, another game with a retextured map. This time it's the latest map for this PvP game, which is a rework of the less popular Mesa map from MCC 21. It's also called Mesa, confusingly enough, but compared to the revised version's debut in MCC 24, the design hasn't changed, just the color scheme. The whole map looks drained of any color. The walls separating each segment of the outer ring are orange rather than grey stone found on the regular Mesa, and the floor of the outer ring is grey instead of orange. This is an interesting color swap. Does anyone else see those white candles attached to each orange wall, or could there be something else? The penultimate game is Hole in the Wall, and for some reason the image chooses to focus on all the cool decor above the map instead of actually showing us the platform shape. But don't worry, we noticed the new medieval map introduced just last event, as you can barely make out the distinctive 2-block wide mini platforms at the bottom of the image, which are unique to medieval. You've also got the recognizable yellow east and purple south walls, which have been redesigned as a further indication that it's the newest map. Above the spectator platform, there are words written in white against a black wall in the top right, most likely spelling the game's name, Hole in the Wall. The letter O in hole is replaced with a ghost. Finally, let's discuss Sands of Time, using the Season 2 version introduced in MCC 15 as a massive upgrade in terms of number of features compared to its Season 1 counterpart. The image here displays the hub where players spawn into and where they begin the game, with the massive sand time on the right of the image and the less useful Sphinx on the left. Like Meltdown and Grid Runners, the same image is used here from previous game graphics, but this doesn't mean the dungeon will be immune to the new special. For example, we will expect the water below the bridges connecting to the sand timer to be purple. The last thing to say about these images is that we will be told in advance of the event about each game and its changes in the MCC 26 update video, which is always released the day before the event on the Noxcrew YouTube channel. I'll link this channel and the original game announcement graphic down below in the description. Well, I've been your host. I hope you found this video informative and enjoyable, and I'll catch you on the next MCC video. Oh, and don't forget to watch MCC 26 this Saturday. See ya.